Good morning, Los Angeles. Breaking news. Congress has just passed the Federal Reserve Act. This will establish the Federal Reserve Bank. This bank will be the nation's first central bank designed to facilitate the exchange of payments among the regions and strengthen the U.S. standing in the world economy. The Federal Reserve is made of three parts: the Board of Governors, the Regional Reserve Banks, and the Federal Open Market Committee. Now I'll pass it on to Alex for more information on the Board of Governors.
Thanks, Madison. The Board of Governors is the federal government agency that regulates banks, contributes to the nation's monetary and policies, oversees activities of the reserve banks. The board, isolated in Washington, D.C., makes up the bank's centralized aspects. The board is made up of 7 members called the governors who guide reserve policy actions. These governors write policies to make our nation economically strong. The board also oversees activities of the reserve bank's boards of directors and participates on the Federal Open Market Committee, which we'll hear more about later. Now I'll pass it to Becca with Regional Reserve Forecast.
We've just been updated with information on recent forecasts of the different districts and their current location. So let's take a look at our first district in Boston, Massachusetts, also noting Maine, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Vermont. The forecast then changes as we move over to our second district in New York. 12 counties in northern New Jersey, Fairfield County in Connecticut, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. The third district includes Philadelphia, eastern Pennsylvania, southern New Jersey, and all of Delaware. If we take a look at the fourth district, we can see that Cleveland, Ohio, western Pennsylvania, Kentucky, and Panhandle of West Virginia all take up this territory. The other 7 districts cover many other states until we reach the 12th district, which includes San Francisco and 9 western states. Back to you in the studio, Alex.
We were just told they just picked a date for the FOMC meeting in Washington, D.C. The senior official of the Federal Bank of New York will be discussing development in the financial and foreign exchange markets and activities of the New York Fed domestic and foreign trading desks. More information just came in saying the staff from the Board of Governors will present the economic and financial forecast of the FOMC, and the FOMC will be discussing the monetary policy option that would promote the economy, sustainable growth, and growth. Let's go back to Melanie, who has a special guest here to give us more information on what's happening.
Hey LA, I hope you're all having a wonderful morning. This morning I brought in Mrs. Young to give us a little info on what's happening.
Money, the most powerful force since the day it was created. The Federal Reserve has created a monetary policy.
And what's this good for?
This new policy was created to keep track of money and credit in the U.S. economy.
Wow, it looks like we're finally getting something in our favor.
Well, it does appear to be that way.
Now, what are all the goals of this monetary policy?
Well, the main goal is to promote maximum employment, stable prices, and moderate long-term interest rates.
Now, if these goals are reached, what will the outcome look like?
The federal government will then be able to maintain stable prices, thereby supporting conditions for long-term economic growth and max employment.
Seems to be that we have a lot of great things coming our way, Los Angeles. Well, thank you for joining us today, Miss Young.
My pleasure.
All right, LA, let's see what Madison has in store for us in the Supervising and Regulating Department.
The Federal Reserve also has many responsibilities in supervising and regulating banks. They are in charge of writing all regulations and supervising the banking system to ensure safety and soundness and to respond in financial crisis. Bank regulation refers to the actual written rules and codes created by the Board of Governors and Federal Open Market Committee that defines what is and what is not acceptable practice. Bank supervision refers to these rules' enforcement. This is carried out by the 12 regional reserve banks as well as other banking businesses functioning in the U.S. Other financial institutions, such as the FDIC, the OCC, and the OTS, supervise as well. In order to remain sound in business, federal examiners issue bank ratings after thorough on-site reviews. If banks wish to expand or merge, they must also get permission from the Federal Reserve. The reserve banks also have community affairs departments responsible for helping institutions broaden access to capital and credit. The Federal Reserve also offers funds for loan through its discount window. This ensures that a shortage of funds in one bank will not disrupt the flow of money and credit in the whole system. Now, who wants to hear more about what Becca has to say regarding financial services? Over to you, Becca.
News came in about the financial services. They found a safe and efficient method of transferring funds throughout the whole banking system. One banking system is the electronic form of payment. The reserve banks provide 2 electronic payment services. Funds that are funds that get automatic clearinghouses, and those funds transfer services provide a communication link among financial institution and government agencies. The ACH provides a nationwide network to exchange paperless payment among financial institution and government agencies. Now back to you in the studio, Melanie, with a recap of tonight's showing for our viewers.
Alright, LA, so with all the information we've provided, here's just a small recap to reinform you guys that the Federal Reserve System is the central bank of the U.S. and incorporates 12 Federal Reserve branch banks, and all national banks and state-chartered commercial banks, and some trust companies. We hope you've had a great time, LA. Good day.